Hello, beautiful peaches. Welcome to the Macros, Metabolism, and Motivation Beautiful Peach Podcast. I'm your host, Caitlen, a reverse diet expert, sustainable fat loss nerd, and food freedom lover. After healing my own mind, body, and metabolism from the icky, restrict, binge, food guilt cycles, I became obsessed with helping other women do the same. I spent 6 years getting my bachelor's and master's degrees in all things nutrition, dietetics, and metabolism health, go Clemson Tigers, in order to start a science-backed, never cookie-cutter, always customized online macro and reverse diet coaching business. I have supported over 3,500 incredible women in their journey to endless results, and I am so excited to help you do the same. In this podcast, I will be teaching you how to break up with the yo-yo diet cycles, tips and tricks to heal your metabolism through reverse dieting. I will be giving away my sustainable weight loss secrets, all without you having to give up a single food you love. So if you're ready to rediscover that self-love and truly become the most confident, beautiful peach possible, grab a pen and a piece of paper, bump up your volume just a little, and let's dive right in. And don't forget to snag your completely free high-protein macro cookbook. All you need to do is submit a quality 5-star rate and review on this podcast, then fill out the form in the show notes so I know exactly where to send your cookbook. This will actually also automatically enter you into the weekly macro calculator giveaway. Every week, I give away a copy of my C. Schmidt macro calculator to one lovely, beautiful peach who has left an awesome 5-star rate and review on this podcast. The winner is announced every single week in my email newsletter email list, as well as my Instagram story. You can't miss it. So leave that 5-star rate and review, and I will see you in the episode. What is up, my beautiful peach? Welcome back to the series all about reverse dieting, healing your metabolism, and weight loss. This is actually the 4th episode in a 4-episode series. So if you have not listened to the 3 episodes prior to this one, I highly recommend going and listening to those. The very first episode was the diet. So the reverse dieting, 4 phases of reverse dieting. Step 1 is the diet burnout phase. So that was the first episode. Step 2 is the slow metabolism and weight regain phase. That's the second episode. Step number 3 is how to eat more without the weight regain phase. That is episode number 3. And now we are in episode number 4, the weight loss that stays off sustainably, maintainably, happily, without ever dieting again phase. So without further ado, I want to dive right into this episode because I've got lots of goodies. So let's dive right in. In our world today, there are quite truly so many different diets out there. It is an absolute endless stream of diets everywhere you can look. And the problem with this is it's leading us into the weight loss, weight gain, playing on repeat, the quick short-term satisfaction that does not actually last. But it leads us running back to the next diet again and again and again because we are chasing that initial dopamine hit, that initial excitement of seeing changes happening without understanding why you are having a rebound after every single diet that you do. And it's one of the most frustrating and unmotivating things out there because it makes us feel that initial excitement followed by the total rebound and feeling so terrible after, but we keep chasing that initial excitement and that feel good, and we're never going to be able to actually truly get that again until we get out of the diet world. So diet world is not a place that we want to be hanging out with. We want to close that door and we want to open it to a new sustainable one. I had that in my notes. I had to say it. That was so cheesy. I started to say it and I was like, wow, this is a lot cheesier than I really realized it was going to sound, but that's fine. Now, a lot of times we do hold a lot of guilt towards ourselves, and we will dwell on the fact that we have been dieting for 30 years. And I really encourage you to, instead of holding on to that guilt,
to actually learn by your mistakes. So learn from those mistakes of what you do and you do not want. I, to my core, believe that part of the journey of becoming the woman that you want to become, becoming that role model that you want to become, becoming that woman that you are proud of, is going through that struggle. It's not just about losing weight. It's about falling in love with yourself. It's about falling in love with your confidence. And it's about falling in love with overall, quite truly yourself in the process. And I think so many people base we say, I will feel worthy when. I will feel love when. I will feel, fill in the blank when, and it's when I lose weight, when I hit this certain body look, when I hit this end goal. And the problem with this is we are really the only ones who are going to determine, what our worth and what our love is based on. So if we're trying to seek external validation for our worth, for our love, that's not going to lead us down a path of true long-term changes, because we are seeking those diets in order to try and have a certain body type, not just to lose weight, but to feel worthy, to feel loved, to feel seen. And we don't need to look a certain way to feel those things. It starts with us, and it starts from the inside. So sure, yes, maybe you have been dieting for the past 30, 15, 40, 12, however many years, but you are in a place where you're learning about you, and you are learning that you are the only ones who determine your standard of living, who determine the health that you want, to determine whether or not you want to be in that dieting world or not. So you're the one who gets to put in the work. So a year from now, you can look back and say, I freaking did that. I decided to show up. Even when I knew it was hard, I decided to put work in, even though I knew it was going to be scary, because it's going to be worth it in the long run. So little pep talk there. I had a small note in there and I just kind of ran with it. And I just had a lot of thoughts on that, because I think so many women are wanting to lose weight, and they are so hyper focused on that end goal that they completely forget that weight loss is just a very small part of the journey. The journey comes from falling in love with yourself. The journey comes from learning to be confident in every stage of life that you're in, every stage that your body is going to be going through. And so when it comes to the journey of reverse dieting, the 4 phases, it can be hard not to think of only that end goal, only hitting that weight loss goal. But I challenge you to dig deeper during the process, because you also want food freedom. You want to get rid of your binge eating. You want to go out with your significant other and feel free. You want to take your kids out to get, ice cream or to hang out with them and to enjoy. And you want to have that love for yourself that isn't based on the way that your body looks. You want to love yourself on who you are. And then the weight loss comes secondary. Okay. It's just an added bonus, which, yes, absolutely. If that's your overall end goal, we love it. I love to hear it. I'm here to support you with it. But I really, 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 I want you to dig on into healing from the inside out, and not necessarily letting go of the end goal, but growing in the process of getting to that end goal, and realizing that getting to that end goal is not going to happen overnight. I always encourage my clients, because we live in a quick fix world, we're so used to getting instant gratification, whether that's our Amazon package. I literally just ordered this cute jumpsuit that I've been wanting for a long time from Amazon, and it's coming tomorrow. And I'm like, wow, that's so fast, right? We live in a world of instant gratification, but we cannot live in that world when it comes to our body, because that's going to lead us literally nowhere but in the same place or backtracking. We want to realize that it took us 40 years to get our bodies into the place where we have this slow metabolism, where our body's going haywire, where, libido's low, energy's low, everything's wonky. You can't expect to heal that in a month. You can't expect that. And I, being someone in the past who believed that, it continued to push me into this quick fix, the diet world, the yo-yo diets, because I would do something for a week. I literally gave up on something after 3 days. And I was like, I'm not seeing changes. This isn't working. And now looking back, I'm like, oh, honey, Caitlen, what are you doing? And I want to give myself a hug and be like, you barely tried, which to be fully honest with you, I don't know what diet was. Like, it's a good thing. It's a good thing because diets aren't going to last. My point being, though, is when you are in the world of, starting to track your macros, starting to go through that reverse diet, you cannot give up right away. You have to give yourself time, give yourself 4 months, and also recognize that changes aren't going to be coming solely from the number on the scale, especially because reverse dieting, the goal is to overall get your intake up without that mass weight regain, so we can go into this 4th phase right here and to lose the weight and keep it off without the restrictive eating, without the bad, relationship with food, and to get it off and keep it off for good, okay?
I want to interrupt this oh so lovely podcast of mine to let you know all about the Reverse Diet course. This is my high-level course for women who want to learn exactly how to adjust their macros and heal their metabolism through reverse dieting so they can eat more food, lose more weight, yes please, and take control over their body and results. Reverse dieting is a process that needs to be custom to you as an individual and your metabolism. This is exactly why I have included the Reverse Diet Checklist, which will walk you through exactly when to and when not to adjust your macros based on your own personal biofeedback every week. I've also included my own personal coaching template called the Reverse Diet Plug and Play Spreadsheet, which honestly alone is worth hopping into the Reverse Diet course for. It holds literally all of my knowledge in one spreadsheet of exactly how much of protein, carbs, or fat to adjust, because they are all adjusted separately, to make sure that you are having a kick-butt reverse diet. In addition, because we love a good bonus, you will get access to the macro calculator to make sure that you are actually having proper starting macros. We want that good, solid foundation. You will also get bonus access to my alcohol plug and play tracker to make sure that you're able to pop that bubbly and celebrate this amazing journey while still having the fun cocktails. So go ahead, grab the Reverse Diet course. The link is down below in the show notes. And if you have any questions for me, please feel free to reach out on Instagram at CSCHMIDT.fit, and I am here to support you. Enjoy the rest of the episode.
Now, when we come to the first 3 episodes, listen if you have not, please go listen. We talked about diet burnout. That was episode number 1. We talked about the slow metabolism and the weight regain phase. That was episode number 2. And then we talked about the reverse diet, the eat more without the weight regain phase. And now we're going to go into the weight loss if that is your ultimate goal. Something to note, not everybody who does a reverse diet has an ultimate goal of having weight loss. You may be coming from restrictive eating. However, you haven't hit that point where you're having the weight regain yet. You 100% should jump into that reverse diet ASAP. You might be somebody who has already gone through one reverse diet, healed your metabolism, healed your body, did the safe calorie deficit, and now you just want to do one more reverse diet to get your intake up to maintain all of that weight loss, and then you can go on your merry life, stop tracking macros if that's your goal, whatever it may be, okay? And again, this is not going to happen overnight. This is not going to be a quick change. You have to be ready to put in the long-term change. Otherwise, you're going to stay in the same cycle forever and ever. And I don't want you to stay there because we have fun on this side. Now, if you are someone who's like, I really don't want to lose weight at this point, I just want to reverse diet, go ahead and listen to this episode, but it might not pertain to you quite as much because it is going to be talking a little bit more about calorie deficits and that weight loss that stays off phase, okay? Now, if you are somebody who does want to lose weight, I want to pick off from the example I talked about in the past 3 episodes. Basically, she hit her diet burnout. Her body was down regulated. She was, low libido, low energy. Everything was feeling wonky. Then she started to see the weight regain happening, which led her, continuing down in that yo-yo dieting world. She finally hit the point where she gets to do that reverse diet. Let's say, for an example, she spent a year reverse dieting. This is just an example timeline. She went from 900 calories all the way up to 2,600 calories. She maintained her weight range the whole entire time. So to give you some perspective, let's say that she started her reverse diet eating 900 calories and 180 pounds. What I mean when I say a weight range is I would say, instead of saying 180 pounds, I would say look at your weight as like 175 to 185, because the reality of the matter is your weight is going to fluctuate on a day to day. This is the way that our bodies actually function. It is not it's really, really not realistic for someone to literally have the same exact weight every single day. So if you are getting upset about seeing your weight at like 180 one day and then 180.5 the next day, you literally might not have just gone to the bathroom. You might have had dinner late. You might have had more sodium. You might have been traveling. You may be on your period. You may just have random bloat, or you may just have a little bit of a fluctuation in your weight for literally no reason at all. This is not true fat gain as long as you are properly having your proper macros, hitting those numbers, and properly going through your reverse diet with the correct adjustments, okay? Your weight, so coming back to this example, and I have an episode, go to episode 80. I really hope it's 85. Episode 85, I talk all about the number on the scale, weight range, all that fun stuff. Now, coming back to our example here, she went from 900 calories all the way up to 2,600 calories. She maintained her weight range. So throughout the entire thing, she was somewhere around 175 to 185 in that range, varying throughout the process. Point being, she has maintained that range, meaning she is eating 1,700 more calories, and she maintained her overall range. Now, what's really, really important to talk about in this situation is her body has healed, okay? I talk about my gear example all the time, and I talked about it in my past episode. We have our main gear, okay? And essentially, this is our metabolism. And if there's a rock in this gear, so our body has the gears, there's a rock in our metabolism gear. We've got all these other gears around this one. That means that because this metabolism gear is going to be a little bit slower, all of these other gears around are going to be a little bit wonky, meaning that when we are doing a reverse diet, it is like taking that rock out of that middle gear. It starts functioning properly, meaning everything else is functioning properly. Our body is healed. That is basically the healing process. And it's not just like the rock comes out. It's not like a fast process like that. It's a slow and steady. You're like, scooching that rock out slowly and steadily. I guess that, I don't know, the way that I just did that with my hands, that's scooching the rock out. I don't know. But we are healing our body. So our hunger hormones are feeling good. Our energy is feeling good. Our libido, our digestion, our bloat, all of these things are feeling good. Our body is working at its absolute best. And also, when we do a reverse diet, what I really, really love to do with my clients is there will be a minimum set point of where your metabolism needs to be, but you want to stay at that point and therefore continue up a little bit in your reverse diet to make sure that your body is fully healed. And this is also why, let's say for our example person, her metabolism, the minimum goal was, let's just say 2,200 calories, but she went up to 2,600 calories. There's two reasons for this. Number one, if she hit 2,200 calories, and this is the minimum place of her body working at its absolute best, and immediately jumped back into a calorie deficit, it's basically like giving a child an ice cream cone and then immediately taking it away. I don't know why that's the example that came. I just watched Despicable Me and that on the plane, and that was one of the examples, or not examples, but where Gru gives a child an ice cream. Wait, no, the ice cream falls. What is it? No, maybe I'm mixing. Maybe that's the Minion movie. He pops the balloon, or anyway, it was funny. So it's basically giving your body what it needs and then immediately taking it away, meaning you have gone through your whole entire reverse diet. You have spent some intentional, amazing time healing your body, and then you're immediately jumping into a calorie deficit again. Your body's just going to immediately revert back to where it was, okay? Now, if you hit that 2,200 point and also if you go into a deficit from there, you're probably going to have to get a little bit more restricted in order to see changes, which is not a healthy way to do a calorie deficit. However, if you go from that 2,200 minimum set point all the way up to 2,600 calories, number one, you have spent more time in a adequate amount of food for your body to feel healed. It's feeling good. Everything's regulated. Your body's I'm feeling good. It's doing a happy dance. Life is so good. And then also you're eating 2,600 calories. So when you go to do that calorie deficit, you are able, and this is actually a really, really good point of this episode too, you are able to cut some calories safely by strategic adjustments to your macros. We know we want to do strategic adjustments, and this will allow you to go into a calorie deficit from that 2,600 point, lose the weight without even potentially dropping below 2,000 calories, meaning your body is maintaining an adequate amount of food to continue to fuel your body, to continue to have all of those systems working at its best. And you quite literally never have to go anywhere near that diet burnout phase again, anywhere near where your body is starting to down-regulate systems, and you are able to lose that weight without restriction, without energy loss, without libido loss, without hormones going crazy, without digestion problems, without all of those negative side effects. Okay. And that is the biggest piece that I think people forget. And we get so incredibly eager to go. And something else too, I have actually in my notes here. You might not even have to do any cardio at all during your calorie deficit and never go below 2,000 calories. Again, this is just an example, but for a lot of people, this is the way that it works. You barely have to go below 2,000. You might not have to go below 2,000. You're not doing cardio. You're losing weight. You're feeling amazing. Okay. And I completely just forgot what my other train of thought was. So we're just going to roll past that one. It might come back. But I think, well, actually, this is kind of what it was. I think so many people are so terrified to actually take the time to do the reverse diet. And they're so incredibly hyper focused on the weight loss part of it that they can't go through their reverse diet. They're unable to, or they're just too scared to reverse diet in the first place. And I get it. Like, I have been in that place in the past where I was putting off the reverse diet. I was like, I know this is what I need to do. I, number one, don't want to take the time to do it. I, number two, I'm terrified I'm going to gain weight. But here's the thing. In those 2 years that I quote unquote didn't want to take the time to do it, I literally stayed stuck exactly where I was. So in my mind, I wasn't taking the time to do it, but I was literally wasting my time. I could have reverse dieted. I literally in those 2 years could have ended up thriving. But I actually wasted those 2 years. So in my mind, I'm like, ooh, I don't have time. I don't want to do this. Oh, whoa, it's me. And I literally was actually wasting my time. But this comes back to we have to learn by our own mistakes. And hopefully by me sharing my own mistakes, you can learn from my own mistakes, or maybe you resonate with them and you're like, ooh, Caitlen, yeah, you're right. I haven't wasted time. Let's do this. The other piece here, though, is I was so terrified of reverse dieting because I was so set in the ways of the diet world and eating more equals weight regain. But if you have not listened to my episode right before, please go listen to it, because you will maintain that weight range if you do a reverse diet properly. Okay. I cannot repeat that enough for you. I cannot repeat it enough. And also, if you're in my world, in my coaching space, I will make sure you see results. I will make sure you are seeing changes happen. Now, the thing is, so many people, and I had this for myself in the past, I was so comfortable with dieting that it was an unhealthy comfort zone. It's like a toxic relationship. You're stuck there. There are highs and lows. You only hold on to the highs. You're completely just trying to push the lows to the side. Because if we have been doing this for 15 years or, 40 years or 50 years, I had somebody actually who'd been dieting since she was 10. I think she was 60 something. So she'd been dieting for 50 years. And it's all we know. It's habitual at this point. It is a habit. It is just the way of our life. We were like, this is it. This is it for me. It's not it for you. If you want to change, you can change. You just get to allow yourself to get out of your comfort zone. If you're like, I want to do this so bad. I so badly want to do this. Come be in my world. I will support you through it because I've been there in the past. I will help you hold your head high on those days where you are struggling, on those days where it's hard. And I will celebrate those wins with you on those days where you're just like, hell yeah, I did this. I'm doing this. Okay. The women who do succeed are the ones who realize that getting out of their comfort zone is where the change really starts to happen. They are ready for the slow and steady change, because long-term changes are going to be slow and steady. Quick fixes do not lead to long-term changes. It leads to long-term problems. So the women who are ready, I literally had somebody who reached out and she was like, hey, Caitlen, I'm ready for the slow and steady change. I'm ready to put in the work. I understand that it's going to be a slow and steady process. I'm here to do it. I'm here to put in the work. And I'm like, yes, let's do this. And it will literally change the entire trajectory of your life when you put in the work now. And when you are seeing those changes happen, because when you think about it, if you've reverse dieted, and this comes back to the main point of this episode, right? Just to do a recap, if you reverse diet all the way up to 2,600 calories compared to, if you're eating 1,600 calories, if you try and do a calorie deficit from 1,600 calories, you're going to end up back at 1,200 calories with no weight loss, with weight regain, with your body going wonky. If you reverse diet and you take that time to do a proper reverse diet with the proper adjustments, strategic, all of that good stuff, you end up at 2,600 calories. You are absolutely freaking thriving. Your body's feeling good. Then you can go into that weight loss space, lose the weight from that 2,600 calories, and allow yourself to continue to have your body thriving while having that weight loss. You will literally never have to diet again, but you have to be ready to put in the work. You have to be ready to, and when I say put in the work too, it doesn't need to take up your entire life. I am a massively busybody. I simply just don't have the time I actually now work out 4 times a week. I was working out 3 times a week for like, I think 3 years. I now just bumped up to 4 times a week, but my workouts are like 30 to 45 minute max. I don't do cardio right now. If you are strategic with your macros, strategic with your workouts, like quick and effective workouts, you have the solid game plan on how to track your macros and do it in a way that's not taking over your life, which is the way that I teach, the way that I love to teach clients. Like, you will thrive. I have women who are just like busy moms, working moms, like busy women, professionals, like in their careers, like head down, like, doing all these things, and you get to have it all. Like, it doesn't need to take over your life like diets do. I think so many diets literally take over your life. And so you're in this place, we get trained to essentially think that like, either number one, I'm going to fail and it won't be worth it. But if you're in my world, I will not let you fail and it will be worth it. You just have to internally accept that yourself, And number 2, we get this fear of like, I won't have time, but you won't have time if you don't have the right resources. But if you have the right resources, you're not going to need to designate your whole entire life. You will be able to have your cake and eat it too, to live your life the way that you want to, and also see those changes happen. And I think that so many people, that's where they get held back and they get stuck and they stay in that place. And I want you to thrive. I want you to live your best life. And so that's why I really cater to busy women, to seeing those changes happen, to making it sustainable, maintainable, enjoyable, and educational. So with all this, I'm so obsessed with this series. Save it if you want to go back to it. Like, I obsessed. I love it so much. I get excited talking about this stuff. So with all of this, please never forget your worth. Please, please, please never forget your worth. Please feel free to send me a DM on Instagram, whether that's just you saying, hey, I enjoy your podcast, or if you have a question for me, or if you want to talk about a program, like anything like that, send me a message. I will help walk through, like specifically walking through what's going on with you. I am here to hear it, because every single person in the entire world is going to be different. And that's why every single macro, like brand new set of macros, is going to be different for every single person in the entire world. Reverse science is going to be different for things are different. It's got to be customized to you. And that's the way that I roll. Period. End of story. I do not believe in cookie cutter. I love cookies. I don't love cookie cutter. Haha, that was cheesy. Not even in my notes to say that. Sometimes I have like these little cheesy things and I'll like write a little note and I'm like, as I'm saying it, I'm like, oh, that was painful. But it's true. I freaking love cookies, but I don't love cookie cutter because I don't believe in it. Which is also why I don't believe in meal plans, because if I were just to give somebody a meal plan, they would feel stuck eating the same exact thing every single freaking day. Instead, I want to teach you how to do your own meal plans, how to really go about your macros and creating your own macro game plan so you can eat different things every day confidently. You can go out to eat if you had something planned for lunch and then you ended up rolling by Starbucks. You can, shift as needed without having the stress of like, I'm going to get off track and like into this all or nothing. I wonder how that is going to sound on the podcast. It might sound funny, but shifting you into that all or nothing mindset. And that's what happens so often with meal plans is you might travel, be around the holidays, go out to dinner, and all of a sudden you're not eating something that was on that meal plan, which then shifts you into a place of, oh my gosh, I'm off track, which then shifts you further into a place, well, I'm already off track, I might as well keep going. You end up binge eating, either start over the next day, the binge lasts for a few weeks. Meal plans, no thank you. Let me help you instead learn how to navigate the real world scenarios. So with all this, that was adding a little extra notes, but I get this question all the time. And people also ask me like, is it okay that I'm vegan? Is it okay that I don't eat dairy? Like, is it okay that I don't eat this or that? And I'm like, hey, if you have a literal intolerance, yes, please. We want your body to feel good. Yes, I am very much of like, I want you to eat what you want to eat, because it's not, coaching is healing our body. The way that I coach is healing our body from the inside out without taking away certain foods or without forcing you to eat certain foods. It is tracking our macros and being strategic with healing our body, and strategic by fueling our body with the food that you love. So yes, definitely eating the nutrient dense foods and also having those tasty tastes. I don't know what that was, but tasty things here and there as well. So yes, you can, if you got, vegan, vegetarian, dairy intolerance, gluten, like it does not matter. I want you to eat what you're going to eat. And if you have none of the above and you eat all of the above, that's great too. Anyway, getting off track here. I am so grateful for you all. If you have any questions, just let me know. Just send me a DM and I am always, always here to help. Never forget your worth. You are so freaking capable. Don't forget that nothing changes if nothing changes. You are able to go slow and steady. You can be the tortoise in the hare story, and you will have that long-term change. And if you struggle with that, go grab the book, The Compound Effect. It is phenomenal. It's a quick freaking read, and I love it. So with all this, I will see you in the next episode, and I hope you have an awesome rest of your day. Bye, beautiful peach.